that we trust says on the bill, from boom to bust, make it a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife.
Hi there, Johnny here from Jonny Lipsham Studios.co.uk, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Paper Deity mixing series. I hope you have enjoyed the series so far. We are right at the end now. We've finished the mix. The mix is all done and in the can, as I like to call it. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to compare the 2019 mix with the mix that I did originally for the EP in 2016. So what you see in front of you in Studio One is the two mixes side by side. I have level matched them. I had to do that because the Paper Deity mix from 2016 was mastered, so that's the mastered version for the record, and that's on the bottom. That's this guy here, and then above this in the darker blue, that is the mix from 2019. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that the mix from 2019 is a little bit longer than the mix from 2016. The reason for that you will see over here. Look, there's a nice little fade out. I did the fade out for the master, which I have not done as yet. That will be next week's episode. Next week's episode, we will master this puppy, but so we're not dealing with the ending as yet. When we have that kind of a scenario, or when I have that kind of scenario with people's mixes, I like to mix the song without doing any fade outs or anything like that. I will do that in mastering because I think personally I get a better control overall of any fade out that needs done in that phase, and I'll talk more about that in more detail next week. So this week, checking out these two mixes rather. So let's get into it. So let's remind ourselves where we're at with this song so far. Now that it is finished, and then we'll compare it. We'll do a little bit of A-Bing between the two mixes, and we will draw some conclusions. Now, here's what I'd like you to do, folks. In the comments below this video, I would like you to draw your conclusions and make your observations about the differences between the 2019 and 2016 mixes, what you observe, and also share your experience of doing your own mix if you've been mixing along with me. That would be fantastic. I would like to maybe as part of a Sunday Night Live go through some of your mixes if you are happy to submit them to me. If you are, here's the way I'd like you to do that. If you could send me a link to the SoundCloud or clip, wherever it is that you have your mix saved, stored. I just hit the mic again. Wherever you have your mix, send an email to me with that link in the body of the email. And the email address you need to send it to is johnny@jonnylipshamstudios.co.uk. You send it to that email address, and in the subject, I would like you to put my Paper Deity mix. And then what I would like to do is basically collate all of these, and then we could, in a Sunday Night Live, we could go through everyone's mixes and have a listen to everybody's mixes and see what we all think. And we could have a discussion on how easy or how difficult you found mixing this song. Because it ain't an easy song to mix. All right, so with all of that now out of the way, let's get into this. So let's remind ourselves of where we're at so far with this song. So let's have a listen to our 2019 mix.
Flashes past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel, roll of the dice, or ace on the turn. You beg, borrow, or steal, or trade your soul for bands to burn. In God we trust, says on the bill. From boom to bust, may give a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife. Seek another soul, this little paper deity.
Alrighty, so there we go. That's the first verse and chorus of the 2019 mix. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the song again. And this time we're going to flip between the 2019 and the 2016 mix. And we'll play probably quite a bit of the song because we want to compare also the sound of the tenor sax solo between the two mixes as well, because the tenor sax solo is a very key part of this song. So it'd be interesting to see what I did back then and what I've done to that now in this series. So let's start again, and this time we'll start with the 2019 mix, and then I will A-B every 3 or 4 seconds or so between the two mixes. Here we go.
Past the window on the 13th floor. One more sad life crashes, broken by the yearn for more and more. Another spin of the wheel, roll of the dice, or ace on the turn. You beg, borrow, or steal, or trade your soul for bands to burn. In God we trust, says on the bill. From boom to bust, may give a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife. Seek another soul, this little paper deity. Flash the plastic, blow it all on hot girls and wheels. Let's do something drastic. In the morning we'll never feel. Where were you on Black Wednesday? Stood for hours outside the Northern Rock. Still hungover from Tuesday. Must we take this banker's cross? In God we trust, says on the bill. From boom to bust, may give a thrill. It can steal your life, dominate your goals, make a trouble and strife.
Tenor sax solo coming up.
Seek another soul, this little paper deity.
2016 solo. (2019) back to 2016.
on the bill from Bill Buzz.
Alrighty, so there we go. I did quite a lot of A-Bing there, so you'd get to hear different sentences, different phrases, different figures, different elements of the song in both mixes. So I flipped quite a bit there, back and forth. But yeah, I wanted to point out there the tenor sax solo in particular, because I think the two tenor saxes are actually markedly different. But I think overall, my personal opinion and impressions here, now bear in mind I'm listening to this on headphones for the sake of making the video, because if I didn't I'd get feedback into my mic, which we don't want. So listening to this on the same headphones that I mixed this 2019 mix, and comparing the two, I think it's fairly clear to my ears that the 2019 mix is better balanced, has a lot more width and depth, so the 3D perspective of the mix, I think, is better. I also think that the 2016 mix is quite considerably darker in overall tone than the 2019 mix. I think there is a lot more low-mid build-up in 2016 than there is in 2019. And I think a lot of that has to do with I have mixed these two mixes in different circumstances. So the 2019 mix has been by and largely done on my headphones. At the end of making each video for this series, I have listened to the mix through the speakers in this room to basically just check the mix in this room. So I have listened to it in this room as well as on these headphones. The 2016 mix was done in a much smaller room than I am now, and was mixed actually on a different set of speakers. The 2016 mix was done on a set of KRK Rocket 5s, second generation, and the 2019 mix, I've mixed this on a pair of PreSonus HD7s, which are great headphones for mixing, and I've done a video on those as well, so you can go check that out after this one. But I've also referenced on a pair of PreSonus RSE5 speakers in a bigger room. And so I think part of the issue that we have with the 2016 mix has something to do with the tonality of the room in which that was mixed, and possibly a difference in tonality of the speakers of the KRKs compared to the PreSonus RSE5s. So I think there are some contributory factors as to why the 2016 mix is darker than the 2019 mix. But I think it's pretty noticeable, pretty observable, that the two mixes are definitely tonally different. I think there is more use of compression in the 2019 mix than there is in the 2016 mix. And you can even see that just looking at the waveform here. If I was to open this up to extra large, and let's take away the mixer, so that you can really see the difference between the waveforms. Have a look at the waveform for the 2016 mix. Can you see the transients popping through quite a lot more than on the 2019 mix? Have a look. See, the transients are much closer to the body of the signal than they are in the 2016 mix. Now, in the 2016 mix, I mixed it using just 4 plugins. I used the Pro EQ, the compressor, the room reverb, and the analog delay. And as you know from watching this series, I've used a broader range of plugins for the 2019 mix. But I have also made use of parallel compression in this mix, in the 2019 mix, compared to the 2016 mix, where I didn't use any at all. I made no use of any parallel compression. And I think, again, there's probably one of the big differences. One of the big takeaways, I think, is that this is better balanced. You can even see it in the waveform. The transients are closer to the body of the signal, so the signal overall has a much more uniform shape to it, whereas in 2016, a lot more transients are poking through. So I am probably doing lighter compression overall in 2016 than I am in 2019. I think maybe I'm using not just more compressors, which is definitely true, but I am using possibly a little bit more controlled compression, and I may be using maybe a slower attack overall, compression-wise, I should say. I think maybe a slower attack, so more of the transients are poking through overall, compared to my 2019 mix, where I'm probably using a little bit more faster attack overall across, as it all adds up between compressors on individual channels, compressors on buses, and of course the parallel compression, I think does a great job there as well. So I think, could I say that the 2019 mix is better than the 2016 mix? Yes, I think it is. I think it's a better balance. Tonally, it's brighter, it's more open. There's a better use of compression. There's a better use of EQ overall. I think that there is a better use of ambient effects. I think maybe the 2016 mix has too much reverb and too much delay going on, whereas I've been a little bit more reserved with my reverbs in 2019. The other thing I would say is, I think if I was to compare the tenor sax solo in the new 2019 mix and compare it to the 2016 mix, I think the tenor sax is possibly a bit too thin. And that is something I think I will need to correct. I think there's maybe it's a little bit too thin, and I think there's maybe a little bit too much 1.5 to 2.5K, that kind of area. I think there's just a little bit too much of, and I can tame that in the next episode in mastering. I'll show you how to do that, and to basically it's just a little bit of finessing of an already really good mix, in my opinion. So I think the 2019 mix overall is better than the 2016 mix, but I also think that they are different mixes altogether of the same song. And to me, this has been really a revelation. This has been a really fascinating and interesting exploration for me. I have learned a lot about how I have developed as a mixer, because I think I'm obviously a better mix engineer in 2019 than I was in 2016. I have learned a lot more. I've done a lot more mixes. That's not to say that I was amateur or not very competent in 2016, because I've been mixing professionally for a very long time. But I think I am better than I was, 3 years ago. So with that all said, folks, this video is getting on for 19 minutes. And I think this has been a really good way to wrap up the series. And as I say, I'd really like it if you were to, in the comments below, post your thoughts, your opinions on the two mixes, and also share your experience of mixing the song. What were your challenges? What did you find difficult? What did you find easy? Those kind of things. I think it'd be really great if we get some really great discussion going in the comments. I will be reading every single comment, and I will respond, I will reply, I will engage with your opinions and all of that. That would be really, really cool. And then, as I say, on maybe this coming Sunday Night Live show, we will devote the entire show to this mix, and the whole experience. And as I said, maybe if you send me links to your mixes, if you're happy to do that and to share your mixes, we could take a listen to all of your mixes, and it'd be really interesting to hear how everybody has taken their own unique and different approach to the song, and we can expand that discussion over the challenges that this song presents. All right, so with that said, folks, I thank you very much for staying with me through the whole series. As I say, we've got one more episode to go. We're going to be doing mastering next week. But thank you so much for joining me on this series. I hope you have gone and got the multi-tracks and you've done your own mix of this song, mixing along with us. That would be great if you've done that. If you haven't and you're only just discovering this series, in the description below you'll find a link to the multi-tracks. Go get them and do your own mix. I'm happy for you to do that, and I'm happy to allow you to use this your mix of this song in your portfolio to attract clients to your mixing skills. That's absolutely fine. The only thing you need to do is just credit me, Jonny Lipsham, as the artist and refer back to the fact that it's my song, Paper Deity, from my EP belonging to Tomorrow 2016. So with that said, folks, thanks a lot, and I will see you next week for mastering. Bye for now.